Horton did his last pit stop for 2 tires and fuel on lap 88. He will not be able to go the remaining distance, almost certainly. Nobody so far has gone 100 laps. That is what he would have to do. Your leader, Horton, almost certainly will have to stop one more time here at Syracuse and take on additional fuel. See what kind of strategy they do with this thing. They may well bring him in under the next caution flag to throw some fuel in it, or they may roll the dice and gamble if they can get 100 miles, 100 laps here at Syracuse out of 22 gallons of racing fuel.
Realizing that Horton will have to take another stop, Alan Johnson is running smoothly on the course. We have him unofficially as second. Third place is Doug Hoffman, then fourth is Charlie Rudolph, and fifth Kenny Tremont.
McCready, who had run so very well before, is still way, way behind as we're watching the 14J of Alan Johnson. Look at this, the car just boom right off the fence. Somebody is stuck in the wall. That's the 4th turn. That looks like the 24 car. Can't be the 24 car. That was
it
Brandon.
Might be the
Brett's
94 of Jeff Hetzler. We hate to speculate on it, but they're saying it's Hetzler.
Here comes your leader. Your leader has just come into the pit area. They're banging the signboard. Horton, they say, stop right here. Don't mess this one up. A critical pit stop for Jimmy Horton. Right front tire. No, they've changed their mind. No tire change. Fuel only for Jimmy Horton as the pits behind him begin to fill. None of the men behind him are in serious contention to win this race. Jimmy Horton right here is in serious contention to win the race. They look at the right rear tire, change no tires. Horton off, underway, out with only a load of fuel being installed in his car.
And Horton, the number 85, has the lead. Charlie Rudolph also on the lead lap. And we have more information on the Jimmy Horton pit stop.
I'm here in the pits with George Smith, Jr., crew chief on the Horton number 85. First of all, what caused the rear end damage to the automobile?
Well, Jimmy said something about some guys got jammed up there on that close to the original start, and somebody got in the back and got him locked in there, and he lost that lap. But we made it up the best we knew how. It seemed like so far it's working pretty good.
Now you brought the car in and it didn't show any tire wear whatsoever.
Well, we're on the second set of rear tires, the front tires, everything. We were set to change, but they look so good, we're going to go like it is.
No more planned stops for the rest of the day.
Hope not. One more at the end at the checker, hopefully.
There's the report from the Smith crew.
We are showing Alan Johnson as the unofficial leader of this race. And second position going to Doug Hoffman. Third at this stage to Glenn Fitzcharles, and fourth to the 85 of Jimmy Horton as we're back under green at Syracuse. Race leaders in traffic.
Word we get on the pits, from the pits, is that there was no appreciable tire wear visible on Horton's car. Recall the last time he took tires was lap 88. Right now, we've got a fight for the lead between Hoffman in second position, Johnson leading the race. You see Johnson put a little space between himself and Hoffman going out of the 4th turn area.
What do you attribute the fact that the report from the pit said that Hoffman is not experiencing any appreciable tire wear?
Well, basically, if you're getting good wear on your tires, Doug, it's a good reflection that your chassis people have set the car up well. It's also a good reflection on the way the car is being driven. If you slide the tires, if you slip them, if you lose adhesion, you may go a little bit faster, but it's going to burn the tires up. You also want to set the car up in such a way that you get as even tire wear as you possibly can. And finally, there's one other variable in this whole thing, and that is that each of the competitors has a choice of rubber compound. You can go with a harder tire that doesn't grip quite as well, and it'll last longer, or you can go with a softer tire that'll grip a little bit better, but which will wear out more quickly.
130 laps complete. 58 laps remaining in this 300-kilometer event in Syracuse. The battle being waged for first place. Alan Johnson and Doug Hoffman.
This is the furthest dirt stock cars have ever gone on a mile in this event. 125 miles had been the record until now. We are working on lap 132. A.J. Johnson leading the race. This car is a grand total of 1 month old. It's set up specifically for Syracuse. The big problem here in Syracuse is not enough weight on the front ends, so they moved the motor 12 inches further forward to help him be able to go through the corners with that car a little bit better.
That right rear tire continues to smoke in 4.
You know what's remarkable, Doug? All the conversation before this race was about the new bodies. Will the new bodies be able to win? The rest of the conversation was about those big Pontiac cylinder heads. And look who's in the lead. 2 guys with old bodies with the standard cylinder heads that they have always used. Now that's not a reflection necessarily on either the new body technology or the new cylinder heads. Certainly the majority of competitors did elect to go with this body style, and with the older style heads and a lot of tough things have taken out a lot of the competitors that had the newer equipment. Nevertheless, right now we're watching the tried, the true, the traditional lead this event here at Syracuse.
And Glenn Fitzcharles is out of the race. He was in 3rd place, and now we have Fitzcharles slowing on the race course, and he looks like he's going to be out of this event.
It's too bad. Fitzcharles would have been an interesting addition to the front of the pack here. The car he is driving owns the all-time stock car 1-lap record here. As we continue to watch Alan Johnson, who is running on Goodyear tires. Hoffman is on Hoosier tires. Horton, who is running in 4th spot, is on Goodyear's. And Charlie Rudolph, who is running in 4th, is on McCreary. So we've got Goodyear, Hoosier, and McCreary in the top 4 spots. All 3 tire manufacturers who came here to contest this event are running in contention to win it.
Both these 2 lead drivers are running very, very smoothly on the course at this point. Alan Johnson and Doug Hoffman. What is a telling tale to look for as we enter the final 50 laps of this event?
Well, there are several things, Doug, that we want to keep an eye on. One of the things to keep an eye on for sure is mechanical attrition. These cars have right now taken more abuse than they have ever taken before. We are in uncharted territory as the cars run around Syracuse right now. Nobody's ever tried this before. Will the various components that the chassis builders and the engine builders selected, will they be able to hold up and go the distance? There is one more factor to consider, that of driver fatigue. It will begin to play a role very shortly. This is a tremendous amount of work. Imagine yourself bouncing around. Look at Hoffman on the inside. Hoffman with a pass on the inside.
Hoffman just blew by Alan Johnson, and now they come out of turn 4.
It was like Johnson just got out of the gas and Hoffman got into the gas as Hoffman went by with ease.
Hoffman moving around 2 slower cars on the track, and he's putting more and more space between he and Alan Johnson. Alan swinging out wide coming out of turn 2, and Hoffman pulls away.
Something has gone wrong with Alan Johnson. Your leader, Hoffman, is putting ground on him as he runs around Syracuse. A major change in the front of the pack here as Doug Hoffman shuffles the deck, blows by the leader, Alan Johnson, and puts a lot of daylight between himself and everybody else.
And you might speculate that perhaps Alan Johnson's tires are going a little bit bad.
Yeah, they may well be going a little bit bad. Alan Johnson may be going a little bad too. We were talking about driver fatigue. It is indeed an important variable in this race. No less than Charlie Rudolph said before the race he would be surprised to see more than 10 cars actually finish the race, and he thought driver fatigue may well prove to be more important than engine fatigue or chassis fatigue.
It looks like Glenn Fitzcharles has retired from the race. Andy Fusco is with him now.
And the drive line broke, the drive shaft, I don't know, it got bumped there. Before the accident even happened, before we got tangled with a 74, had a vibration and something in the drive line just broke out, that's all.
Now this car wasn't built for the big track, but it certainly was running well.
Yeah, it was working really well. I mean, I could go on the outside if I had to and stuff, and down tight, I could hang down tight. I was really happy with the performance of the chassis and stuff, the Troyer car, Troyer chassis, and I think next year, just a little bit more horsepower, we have this baby pretty well under control.
Hoffman now right in front of the main grandstand, and now almost a full straightaway behind. There's Alan Johnson. Boy, it's not even a race anymore.
No, not right now it's not, but hang on, there's a lot more racing yet to go, Doug. Nothing visibly wrong with Alan Johnson or visibly wrong with his car, but something has apparently gone awry. A lot of things can happen. You can lose a cylinder and still be able to run. A tire can start to go away, or you can still be able to run. And I remember last year when nobody knew exactly what had happened to Brett Hearn, and he just lost the feeling of his right foot while he was running the car because oil sprayed on it. You're watching Alan Johnson right now in second position, dropping back further and further with each mile on this speedway.
He was bumper to bumper about 5 laps ago with Hoffman, and now he is a full 5.5 to 6 seconds behind the race leader. And there is your race leader, Doug Hoffman. Started on the pole.
How nicely Hoffman works the traffic. He never got near that lap car, just slid right on by him, a little bit sideways, not too much sideways. Right now, Hoffman very, very smooth out here this afternoon. He has been a factor all day until today. Remember, Hoffman had never led a single lap here at Syracuse. Until today, his best finish had been a 12th.
Meanwhile, we have barefoot Bob McCready and Jimmy Horton battling for 3rd and 4th spot, and a car smoking in the front straightaway. We'll pick it up going into turn 1. There he is. It's the 19 of Chuck McKee.
And that is an engine explosion. Boom, as the yellow flag comes out, as McKee oils the track. Look at the trail of oil behind him as he goes into the first turn. These engines, by the way, are worth about $20,000. That one's not worth quite that much at this moment.
That brings out our 10th caution flag. We've had 9 previous for a total of 38 laps. We are on lap 146 at this point. The track is clean and the pace car is pulled off.
That's Leckenby on the low side of your screen. He is not in contention for it. He is down laps. Dave Leckenby, 125 of Hoffman. Look at Johnson, wants to get right up on the outside. That's okay, you can do that. He's going to do it anyway. There's your front 2.
As they accelerate out of turn 4, and again, it is Hoffman in first, Johnson in second, and let's follow them around and see exactly what Hoffman does with AJ Slideways. And Allen is right there with them coming off of 2. And Hoffman is slowed.
Hoffman in trouble. Hoffman is completely out of the gas on the backstretch. The lead changes again. The drama continues here this afternoon at Syracuse as Doug Hoffman slows going down the backstretch.
He's trying to pick it back up between 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Alan Johnson streaks by us in the main straightaway. He has the lead as we are 148 laps down.
Just a moment ago, it looked as if this man, Alan Johnson, had no chance at all. Meanwhile, Hoffman comes into the pits under power. Let's see what they're going to do to that car. They don't do anything to that car when he first arrives. Jack under the front end of the automobile. Fuel going in. Did he run out of gas?
They're doing some work on the front of the machine.
Yeah, they sure are. That's a suspension problem on the right front. We were talking about attrition and the toll the mechanics have to prepare for. 19 cars remain on the speedway.
That's out of a starting field of 50.
Sledgehammer adjustment. What they're adjusting right now is the coil spring retainer on the right front. Apparently it has popped up and it is not holding the coil spring properly on the car.
Barefoot Bob McCready had some trouble in turn number 2. He slowed considerably, lost a number of positions. Now he is racing back up to speed between 3 and 4. In fact, he's being passed right now on the outside, and Barefoot Bob McCready may be coming into the pits. And here comes your defending champion back into the pits.